Hey guys, Marty Boots here. Today I'd just like to make the third video in the series about the moving averages. Now, if you've watched my previous two videos, you will notice that price does not always hold above the moving averages. So there is always the potential that we do roll over at some point and get below the moving averages again. And the second time we get above the moving averages was the final bottom and for the continuation into the bull market. So I just want to look a bit further into that. And today, this video is the bearish argument for Bitcoin. So I'm going to start here on the 12-month chart. And you can see here the arrow into the big red candle. The big red candle is a bearish candle, and it is a yearly bearish candle, which indicates that there is the potential for price to break down below the yearly lows, which is the 3,100 level or whatever that is, 3,200 level. And you can see I've drew the fibs on the yearly candle. Now you could draw the fibs up from the all-time highs, but in this purposes I'm going to draw them on the yearly candle alone. So you can see here price has moved up and we have not even hit the 23% yet. So the 23% is a likely target for the year. If we're going to be bearish, it is a likely target that we move up into this level and possibly reject. Now the 23% is a weak move, and a weak move from this would indicate price could roll over and go to new lows. So we have to take that in mind. As traders, we got to always look at all aspects and all possibilities. So it is a possibility. Now let me move to the 6-month chart. Now a 6-month chart, I've got my fibs again from a yearly candle, and you can see here price has bounced up already into the 38%. Now if you look at this big red candle here, this is also a weak candle because we closed on the lows after a big down move, and it is generally a weak candle. You can see the previous candle is the same candle, and notice how we closed on the lows and we had that bit of a retracement and then we continued lower. So in theory, according to the price action, this green candle could be this retracement that we are seeing right now. Sorry, I said that wrong. This green candle could be the retracement that we've seen here on this wick, and then price will drop and continue down to new lows. That is a possibility. Well, I was going to bring up the volume profile, but I'll leave that to the next chart. So if I'll move on, it's easier to explain here. I've got the volume profile on here. So if price can hold here, there is the potential next month that we can break up above and potentially go to the 6,400 level. Now the 6,400 level is a 61% retracement on the year, but it is also, very importantly, it is into the volume profile where there's a high volume area. You can see this is all a gap, so there's not much volume here to restrict price from going higher. And in my previous video, one of my previous videos, I talked about if price can sustain these levels into the end of the month, price could actually explode higher through the 6,000 level, maybe up into this 6,400 level. And according to the yearly chart, this could still potentially be bearish and we could end up rolling over then. So we have to take that into mind when we're doing our analysis. If you look here at the weekly chart, we are into resistance now. This is a doji candle, which is a sign of indecision. in the market, and we're also into the 50 weekly moving average. Again, these fibs are done from a yearly candle, so we could potentially move higher into the 6,400 level. You know, you can't rule that out. There's also the potential that we could roll over now, because you know this is into monthly resistance. But in my opinion, if we can hold these levels to the end of the month, we can push higher. But it is into resistance right now, so there will be a period of consolidation and maybe a drop. Now I have outlined this over here. You can see this doji candle. It's one of the only other doji candles similar after a big move like this that we've had in Bitcoin's history. So you can see that there was that rejection and we did come down, and price did come down and test the 9 EMA. So obviously in time the EMA will rise higher, and we may potentially have that dip into the 4,600 level or whatever that is, touch the 9 EMA, and then we can move higher from there. That is a potential. We have to be wary and understand that. So here I've outlined some scenarios that we are going to fail and go lower from the moving averages. Now I have not put this price up to the 6,400 level. I've done it a bit lower just for the sake of an example. But I have outlined the buy points in this scenario. The red 200 moving average should play out sort of like this if price is going to go higher and then drop again. The moving average, the 200, is more of a smooth moving average because it's a 200, and the 200 is an example of all the moving averages. You know, if we get back above the 200 again, we're likely to be above all moving averages, just like we were here. So if we do break below this moving average again, the first option is to look for a retest of the ascending triangle, which is at the 4,200 level. And if price can hold this level and maybe consolidate and then finally get above the all moving averages again, this would be another buy point. So you can see the two boxes outlined would be both buy points for accumulating Bitcoin on the retest, and then the second buy point would be above all moving averages for the second time. Now here is another example. This is down to, well, I've got this on the daily chart, but this, if you've watched the previous videos, a lot of the time also, sorry, maybe I forgot to, in the previous videos, there was a lot of times when we did get a retracement, and the retracement was down into the 61% level roughly. So if you've seen my previous videos, a lot of times we got that retracement at some point. Like price usually moved a bit higher after breaking out above the moving averages, and then if that did fail, the retracement a lot of the times was into the 61%, 50 to 61%. So that is almost exactly into this area. Now I didn't even draw the fibs when I done out this chart, but you can just see how perfectly it lines up. So I'll just move on here. The third option, the first option is this continues higher, outlined in my previous videos. This is the second option where we drop down and retest the ascending triangle, and this is the third option, which if you watch the previous videos, if price got above all moving averages, the worst case scenario in all those charts that I posted was the price rolled over and actually took out the lows and was basically a stop hunt and took out all the stops from all this trading action and took the stops out and then moved higher. So that has to be considered as a possible outcome. And again, I've outlined two possible buy points, which would be right at new lows, especially well, you can buy on new lows, or you can wait for the retest if price comes back inside, and you could buy here at the number 1. And then the second buy point is obviously when we get above all moving averages again. So guys, as traders, I'm under no illusion that this is definitely going into a bull market from here, because we're above all moving averages. I did buy a small bit of Bitcoin, but if I knew that this was going to go into a bull market, I mean, I would buy a lot more Bitcoin now, but I don't know that. So we have to be cautious, of course, and if we get that pullback, then these are potential buy points that I will be looking to accumulate. So I hope this video helps, guys. I just thought I would do the bearish outcome, because you cannot have a bullish argument without a bearish argument. That is just what we do as traders. We have to look at all perspectives and all possibilities. So I hope this helps, guys, and if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Discord. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.